Hello, boys and girls. So today we are going to be working on our literary essay, and we're going to be double checking it, triple checking it to make sure it has everything that we need in a literary essay, right? We need to make sure our paragraphs have at least 5 sentences. We need to make sure we have a title, we have a good hook in the introduction, we state the title, the author. We want to make sure each of our body paragraphs has transitions, it has evidence, and then reasoning, and then our conclusion wraps it all up and gives it like a lasting impact statement, right? So I'm not going to read exactly everything in here, but we're going to go over little bits of it that we need to make sure that we have in our literary essay, right? So right here at our top, we have the title, right? A literary essay on the Giving Tree by Miss Myers, right? So yours will say a literary essay on Kenny and the Little Kickers, or whatever text you're going to be writing about in the future by your name. Then we have our introduction, right? We started off with my hook. Then in the introduction, I say the book, The Giving Tree, and then I give the author, and then it's followed by that short summary, right? So I have my summary included right after the title and the author. Then I end it with my claim, right? That through reading the book, I identified that the tree is a very generous character. She is always willing to give, even if it leaves her with nothing. So now, this is what I really want to talk about, are our body paragraphs, right? So again, we want to make sure each one of these has about 5 sentences. We want to make sure we start it with a transition. We want to make sure it has our evidence, which is quoted from the text. And then we want to explain it with reasoning. All right, so I'm going to read my first body paragraph to you. For example, there's my transition. As the boy gets older in the story, he does not visit the tree as much, right? That happened in the beginning. But when he finally does, he asks for money to be happy. The tree says, I do not have money. I only have leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city, right? There is my evidence, right? It's quoted. I have my evidence, right? So make sure we have evidence from the text. Then I have another transition that's going to start my reasoning, right? This shows me that she does not have money to give him, but she wants to help. She wants him to have money to be happy, showing that she is generous, right? I could even add more onto that, and I can say, right, she didn't have it to give it to him. She didn't have to give him her apples. She chose to, right? And then again, my next paragraphs follow the same structure. We start with our transition, right? We're going to be talking about how the tree is generous because the boy wants a house, right? And then I have my evidence, right? We have it in quotations. Big thing right there. Having our evidence directly from the text in quotations. And then I have a transition and then the reasoning. You have to make sure your reasoning talks about that evidence and ties it back to the claim, right? So my evidence here was the forest is my house, but you may cut off my branches and build a house, then you will be happy, right? So I explain it in my reasoning. I believe that this shows how generous she is. She knows that she does not have a house to give him, but she is willing to give her branches to him so he can build a home, right? So that's showing how generous she is by what she's doing in that evidence. Again, I have my next paragraph, started again with a transition. Then I talk about my evidence, right? And then we have our reasoning to explain that evidence. Then we follow it with our conclusion, right? As you can clearly see, the tree in the Giving Tree is a very generous character. I restate my claim right there. I use my sentence starters that were seen in the conclusion video. I give a summary in the following sentences of what I said in each body paragraph, and then I leave the reader with a very impactful statement, something we'd be better off with, right? We'd all be better off if we were half as generous as the tree was in this story. All right, so that's all we're going to do today is look over our literary essays and make sure it has everything that we need. Do not worry about capitalization today. Do not worry about punctuation. Do not worry about spelling. We will do that next time. Just make sure you have everything you need for a literary essay. Good luck!